And welcome back to plate number 2. This one is an extra double stuffed episode to keep up with the Thanksgiving atmosphere. Today we will be going over wands and swords. Okay, wands. The wands are lights and represent creativity and the element of fire. Corresponding to our own creative center, together with sexuality, the lights defeat the darkness and disperse fears, releasing vibrant creativity. Starting with the Ace. Once again, the book of individual potential is still closed. A beginning of a concentration of forces. 2. Diverse energies face off in the depths of obstacles, a critical point accumulation. 3. The grimoire falls open to natural magic, to creativity, to union. Card 4. A level of comprehension is reached and consolidated. Stability, fulfillment. 5. There is the opportunity to move onto higher level of consciousness, but there is also uncertainty and difficulty in abandoning personal convictions. 6. Analysis of the situation and reflection are necessary before deciding. 7. Mental and physical actions are developing dynamically. 8. The ability to decide and fortitude come from reason and generate a desire for balance, stagnation. 9. The experience produced abundance, wholeness, but perhaps also isolation and crisis. 10. The end of a chapter of the grimoire represents fulfillment, consolidation, and a new beginning. Knave. Presage of the onset of a transformation, the secret learning, the hidden knowledge of the pyramids. Knight. Enterprise and vivacity, urge to action, inclination to a sudden turn of events. Queen. The keeper of the forces of one of the 4 personal centers, the perception of this energy. King. The control of one of the 4 personal centers, the full possession of one's resources. Now, going to point out the most obvious, which is that each and every one of these cards keeps up with the theme of the light. That there's an element of fire that you can see in the background here. Each one of these cards represents light, or the fire. Now, this one's not really dusty or faded. This is probably the most colorful suit. And even the ones that would be dusty and faded are still colorful. Like card number 4. Like that is still rich with color. A lot of darks balancing the light. Knave is probably the most colorful one. So, it does keep up with the wands, obviously, and let us move on to our final suit. Swords! Okay, swords. Swords are demons and represent thoughts and the element of air, corresponding to our own intellectual center, with the mind and its potential. If thoughts escape our control, they become obsessions, taking the form of demons that enslave the mind. Now, my diagnosis, or is that prognosis? Whichever, is that when it says our obsessions take on the form of demons that enslave our mind. If you've ever become obsessed with something, like a particular food or beverage or TV show or whatever, and it's all you think about, yeah, you're creating a demon there that you can't, like, I guess you could say a habit, an addictive habit, is technically a demon. Does that make sense? That doesn't make sense, does it? I'll shut up and get to the cards. Ace. The book of individual potential is still closed. A new beginning. Concentration of forces. 2. The diverse energies face off in the depths. Obstacles. A critical point. Accumulation. 3. The grimoire falls open to natural magic, to creativity and union. 4. A level of comprehension is reached and consolidated. Stability, fulfillment. Card 5. There's opportunity to move on to a higher level of consciousness, but there is also uncertainty and a difficulty in abandoning personal convictions. As I won't spoil it for you, but going back to Innsmouth, or the shadow over Innsmouth, I know exactly what that card and that picture are representing in that story. For those who are familiar with that story, you know exactly what I'm talking about, and you can obviously see it. Or if you watched that Abomination, which is actually a pretty good movie, Dagon by Stuart Gordon, that really represents it. That movie's bad that it's good. 6. Analysis of the situation and reflection are necessary before deciding. 7. Mental and physical actions are developing dynamically. 8. The ability to decide and fortitude come from reason and generate desire for balance, stagnation. Which I think is a beautiful card right there for representation, metaphorically. Especially when it says stagnation. You're trapped, you know? You're in that same rut. Card 9, going back to Shadow of Her Innsmouth again. The experience produced abundance, wholeness, but perhaps also isolation and crisis. If you haven't read the story, you should read the story. I'm sure you can find it on YouTube as an audiobook. Card 10. The end of a chapter of the grimoire represents fulfillment, consolidation, and a new beginning. As we go to the Dunwich Horror. Knave. Presage of onset of a transformation. The secret learning of the hidden knowledge of the pyramids. Knight. Enterprise and vivacity urge to action, inclination to a sudden turn of events. Queen. The keeper of the forces of one of the 4 personal centers. The perception of this energy. King. The control of one of the 4 personal centers. The full possession of one's resources. Now, a lot of Innsmouth art in this. And as you can tell, the demonic theme is clearly in here. And you just gotta know what ones to look at to get the idea. Now, in terms of the coloring, I figure 50-50. It's not faded, it's not dusty, but it's not rich and colorful either. It's about right. So, Knave of Swords is probably my favorite among the suit. So that being said, this concludes part 4. Part 5 will be served very shortly, along with that slice of pumpkin pie, either a la mode or with kuhip. So I will see you one last time for this series very shortly.